Neil from Essex here, out today to answer a question from one of our longtime viewers. His name is Ian. He shot me an email asking if we could spend some time going through the different transmissions that are on these tractors and specifically talk about some of the things that makes them a little different one to the next. So we're grabbing my big ring of keys here, heading out here to the parking lot. We're going to jump on some seat of some machines and show you how these things drive.
Essex, a helping hand with your land.
Now we're going to start here with the easiest to drive, the easiest to understand, and work our way to things that are progressively more complicated. And the first one of the easy ones is going to be a hydrostatic transmission here. When you think of a hydrostatic, it is what most of us just simply know is like a lawnmower transmission. Pedal on the floor, the harder you press, the faster you go. But there's a couple of things in here that do make hydrostatics a little different one to the next. Now, in anything bigger than a lawn tractor, your hydrostatic transmission is going to have a range selector on it. On this LX series tractor that I'm sitting on here, it's right down here on my side, and you're gonna notice this low, medium, high. Now, I tend to explain those as loader, mower, highway, and they're gonna operate you in this tractor somewhere between, say, 0 to 4, 0 to 8, or 0 to 12 miles an hour. The harder you press the pedal, the faster you go. And you think when you push that pedal down, you think of that as a gear selector. And the higher gears and the pedal pushed to the floor, you have less torque than you do when you're pressing gently on the pedal. Now, one thing you're gonna watch on these tractors is not all machines have a 3-range gearbox attached to that hydrostatic transmission. Some are gonna have no ranges at all if you're in small machines, or in subcompact tractors, maybe only 2 ranges. But as you look at different manufacturers' product lines, not all of them offer the same number of mechanical ranges in the rear end, and having more ranges to operate your tractor in is definitely an advantage. Another thing that we're starting to see on some more deluxe hydrostatic transmissions are cases where companies are tying the hydrostatic pedal to the engine so that it makes your tractor drive a little bit more like a car. If you watch here, when I push that pedal down going into that higher gear, my tractor is going to drive faster. It makes a nice machine for transporting if you're doing a lot of driving back and forth, and overall is handy for loader work as well. There's a lot of cases where you do end up overriding this with a hand throttle. We could talk through some of the intricacies of these systems, but they are a nice thing that we're starting to see come out on more machines. Once we start getting above about 30 horsepower or so, you tend to start to get more options besides just hydrostatic transmissions. In many machines, you could choose between a hydro and a gear-driven type transmission up to about 50 or 60 horsepower or so. And then once you cross that 60 horsepower threshold, you tend to move into machines that have just gear-driven transmissions. And that's because as convenient as the hydrostatics are to run, fundamentally they don't put power to the ground quite as effectively as the rest of the transmissions that we're going to talk about do. So when we start moving into gear drives, you're going to drive a gear drive transmission much like you would a car or a truck, right? In a lot of cases, you have a clutch on the floor, a main shifter over here on the side to shift those gears, and a reverser of some sort in order to change between forward and reverse. But I got things to tell you about every one of these things. So first, our main gear selector. You're going to notice that this one here has 2 ranges, a low and a high, and 4 gears. Now that's going to give this tractor effectively 8 speeds. Now 8 is not a lot in many of these machines, and we see a lot of customers wanting more speeds for more precise controls. So a lot of our tractors are going to have 12 speed options. Now, how they achieve those 12 speeds is worth paying attention to. If you have 4 speeds up here on your main shifter and 3 ranges, every time you want to change between these ranges, you're typically slowing your tractor down. They're oftentimes not shift on the go ranges. So that means in order to achieve those 12 gears, 3 ranges, 4 gears, you're slowing down and stopping to shift those ranges. Other tractors, though, might do this with 6 gears on the main shifter in 2 ranges. And generally, the more gears you have in this main shifter, the nicer the tractor is going to be to run, because you're not slowing down or stopping or trying to speed match in order to make these selections for your range. So here's what I'm talking about when we're doing a range change. Right now, we're driving along at a slow speed. I'm in 4th gear in my low range, and I want to go out on the road. Now, in order to get any more speed out of this, I've got to stop the train. Hear that grind? My range changes in most machines, they're not synchronized, so you got to slow the tractor down, in order to make that jump. And now I've got to go out. I want to go faster, so I can't go into high 4 and go that quick. So now I got to shift my main shifter, right? So every time you're doing one of these range changes, you're slowing the machine down, you're doing a lot more action. So more gears in fewer ranges is typically advantageous. Next up is how you're changing directions, and we see some differences between machines on exactly how that's done. Our newer tractors, like this M series, are gonna have hydraulic shuttles. So when we wanna go into forward, we simply take our lever here, pick it up, slide it forward, and the tractor goes forward. When we wanna go in reverse, we can take that same lever and just pull it backwards, and the tractor goes in reverse. You can do this on the fly, and the tractor is using hydraulic pressure in order to manipulate the clutch plates to change direction. Tractors with a little bit older technology, though, might not have this hydraulic shuttle and may have some kind of mechanical solution. And generally those mechanical solutions are going to require you to clutch when you're changing direction. So if you're going in and out of a pile, you're doing a lot of loader work, this is a much heavier duty, longer lasting, easier to operate solution, having a hydraulic shuttle, than you will a mechanical one. But as you can guess, it's also a more costly option. When we move towards the upper horsepower range of utility tractors, say 80 to 120 or so, you'll find some machines that sport what's called a semi-power shift transmission, or New Holland calls it dual command on a lot of their machines. And that's going to give you another power shift range selection into this gear-driven transmission. Now, power shift selections are gear selections that can be done under power without touching the clutch. Much like that hydraulic shuttle was working, it just does it for the gears of the tractor. Now, when we look at a transmission like this, we can get a lot of speeds. Oftentimes, these are gonna have 4 or 6 gears in their main shifter, 2 mechanical ranges in that high-low, and then another high-low power shift selection on top of that. Now, the way this maths out in terms of gears is gonna be 6 times 2 times 2, giving us 24 gears on these tractors, giving you a lot more potential ground speeds and also the ability to bump that power shift selection to give you a little bit more speed or a little bit more torque without having to clutch and throw a whole lot of levers around. Now, we talked a little bit here about being able to change gears without using a clutch, and when we get into our biggest tractors, that starts to happen in a much broader way with power shift transmissions. Now, this T8 360 that I'm sitting in here is a really advanced power shift. It's what's called a full power shift that can change gears or change ranges without using any clutching. And not clutching is important in these machines because oftentimes you might be pulling a piece of tillage, you might be pulling a planter or something behind you, and if you clutch that tractor with an implement in the ground, it's gonna stop really, really quickly, right? Or if you're traveling up and down a hill and you happen to clutch, you're now under power, not under power, and you may drift backwards. Now, not all power shift transmissions are full power shifts like this one is. Many of them are gonna be partial power shifts where your gears are power shift, but your ranges aren't. And in that transmission is one you really want to pay attention, because what we talked about before about the benefits of having more gears and less ranges is very, very true, because these are tractors where not being under power is pretty detrimental to the task that you might be doing. Now, in this largest class of big tractors, you're going to see about half of these machines coming through as power shifts, and the other half coming through with some type of variable transmission, a CVT or an IVT, or all these things refer to a similar driving experience where you have a machine that is continuously under power, that has no ranges, and can drive without shifting from its slowest speeds to its fastest ones. They're perhaps the nicest transmission to drive for a variety of reasons, but also the most difficult to explain to people, because we start talking about things like droop control and those kinds of things that are foreign concepts to people who have grown up running the tractors that we talked about here earlier. So if you're getting into the class of one of these machines, understanding all the controls of these transmissions and describing them correctly is a challenge, because there's a lot of variety in how these things can be built and a lot of differences from one machine to the next and how their controls work. One thing people often forget about with these CVT transmissions is that just like our other tractors, they still do have ranges in them. And while we talked about ranges before and these other machines being a bad thing because of having to clutch, in a CVT, ranges are actually a positive. When you're running a CVT transmission, you are the most efficient when your transmission and your gearing is sitting right on top of where that range is located. When you're going faster or slower than the range, you're using typically a hydrostatic motor inside the transmission in order to speed up or slow down some ring gears that are back there in the transmission. So having more ranges in these tractors makes them operate more efficiently when they're paired with a CVT transmission. So after running around out here with the keys a little bit, I hope that helps you understand tractor transmissions a little better. If you're shopping for a machine, this is something you really want to pay attention to. Getting this selection right and understanding how your tractor is going to perform has a massive impact on your quality of life running the machine and how well it's going to run certain implements. It also has an enormous bearing on the price of the machine that you're looking at too. More so than any other feature on a tractor, the complexity of its transmission is a real driver to cost. And if you're comparing machines from one to the next and you're looking at dissimilar transmissions, you may not understand what you're actually getting. So shopping for a piece of equipment that we can help, or if you got parts and service needs for a machine you've already got, just call a message. We're available at 800-222-3373 or online at Bessons.com.